Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Tonight's going to be a little crazy. We're not coloring. We're going to work on the comp book project 2020. And so when I was thinking about that, a lot of what I've set up my comp book to do already is very structured on taking a lot of notes based on the book itself, chapter by chapter. And that's not something I think you guys want to see me do, because I'm going to be reading, skimming, and writing. But what I am going to do, so let me just move this. Let me move all, this is all the fun stuff we're going to play with tonight. And I don't know how long this video is because we're just going to throw some stuff in the book. I've got a bunch of stuff to play with. But the beginning of the book, or most, I'm going to say about 2/3 of the notebook, have all been structured by chapter. So every couple pages or so, I've got a new chapter to put notes and stuff in, and doodles and drawings and stuff. And I'll post pictures of that as I go. But I just don't think you guys are going to be interested in seeing that on video, because it's going to just be mostly a lot of note taking. And I haven't done much. I worked on this page a little bit today as far as moving forward with that. But if you go all the way to the back, oh, actually, so we've probably got about 3/4 of the book. There, the chapter part, I think we're getting there, ends back here. You have to forgive me, I'm just looking, guys. That's chapter 44. Oh, okay, we still have, so let me just scribble this in real quick. Ooh, I need a pencil. It's the only thing I didn't grab. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, so we're going up to chapter 53. So I was giving each chapter about 3 pages. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. So the next chapter would be here, 45. And I'm just going to lightly scribble that so that way I can go ahead and erase it later. Then I'd have 1, 2, 3. This would be chapter 46. 1, 2, 3. Chapter 47, and I keep forgetting what number we're going up to. 53. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 48. 1, 2, 3. 49. 1, 2, 3. So this would be 50. Just trying to make sure I'm not skipping pages. 1, 2, 3, this will be 51. 1, 2, 3, 52. 1, 2, 3, 53. And that'll be the last chapter. So I want to give it 1, 2, 3 pages. Here we go. So starting on this, so that's the end there. I'm just going to put end. As you can see, we still have, not a super lot, but we still have quite a few pages back here of stuff to play with. And this is going to be a great place to do what I want. I want to do pages, like pages based on characters, pages based on settings, and maybe even some items that are mentioned in the book, maybe some specific scenes that stand out. So this is a good section to do that in, and that's what we're going to play around with tonight. We're mostly going to be cutting and gluing collage type elements in onto pages that I want to devote to specific places and people. So before we get into that fully, I just want to show you guys, I did show you guys this calendar before, but I have added for the first, I'm writing it in on Saturday, but I either make the video Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday night. The first weekend in February, I want to do something in my mythographic books, because I was watching, I saw somebody coloring a page in the mythographic aquatic, which I do not have, And I was just like, oh, I love those books. I totally forgot about them. And I have two. I have the first two. I have to get the aquatic one. And there's two new ones coming out this year. There's an Island Paradise one, which I'm about, but I'd have to see the pages. And then there's another one. I think it's Hidden Castles is what it's called. Oh, I want that one. Anyway, so the first one is Mythographic Animals. I'll just do a quick kind of flip. I think I do have a full flip throughs of these on my channel, so just go back and look through my videos. So I've colored one picture in this one, and I actually cut it out and gave it to my brother as a gift. This book is cool, and I like all the detail, and it's reminiscent of Kirby Roseanne's, but it's definitely unique in a lot of other respects. I love this one. But then on the second book, the scenes get a little bit more detailed and a little bit more varied, which I thought was really cool. It just becomes, it just takes on more life, more than just animals and stuff. Some of these pages just have, I mean, it's still, but now we've got people. Some of them are very scenic. For example, this is one I'm working on, and we might actually work on this one. This one's more like a scene, which is awesome. I love this one. And then the aquatic one is even more so. You can just see almost like a skill level building there. But these books are amazing. If you're not, look at this, all the keys and the lock. If you're not into teeny, tiny, tiny details, these are not the books for you. There are, oh, look at this. Isn't this so cool? I haven't been through these books since I first bought them. If you do not like teeny, tiny details, these books are not for you. And a lot of it is, oh, look at that one. A lot of it is kind of discovering little things as you color. So, for example, you'll be coloring, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, there's a barrel there. And then you're coloring again, and you're like, hey, there's an eye patch there. So it's just, it's kind of cool in that respect too. I will say, from what I've noticed between the first book and the second book, is that it's easier to see what's what in this book. And by that I mean, when I colored the first page, the details, the minuscule details were a kind of, it was hard to color. It was hard to tell what was what while I was coloring. I really had to pay attention and figure it out. And, oh, I think this is this. And so what I ended up doing on the one that I did for my brother, and that is on video, so go back and look at my videos and you'll see that. What I ended up doing for the one for my brother was, if I wasn't sure, I had done the background, I think I did the background black. If I wasn't sure, I just kind of blacked it out. So there are ways around it, but like some of it with just all the foliage and stuff, sometimes it was just hard to tell what was what. And I just worked around that, but you could see that that one's a little bit clearer, and from what I can see for the next one, it's even more so. I'm really anxious to get my hands on that book. So we'll see if that happens. But anyway, so we're gonna color Mythographic, and I think we'll probably just work on my work in progress, because as you guys know, I'm trying to finish some of those up this year, so that'd be nice to get to. This is where I am on this guy. I haven't had much time to color this week. I've been spending some time playing games with my husband still, but also we had dinner at a friend's house last night, so I had zero time to color. I'm still trying to work out every day this week, and I am very excited to say so far I've been successful. I've worked out every night this week. Last night, we didn't get home from my friend's house until about 9. I think I did my workout at 9:30. I didn't even get to bed till 10:30, which is very late for me. So anyway, I'm very excited that I've been on top of that. So this is where I am with this guy. I'm just going to keep plodding along until I finish. Unfortunately, a couple of my Black Widow pencils when I was sharpening, the leads kept breaking off. So obviously the cores, or not the leads, but the cores, obviously the cores on a few of them, actually, there's like 3 or 4, were broken inside the pencil, which I was very frustrated because one of them is this dark green here that I wasn't able to finish. I literally chewed through more than half the pencil trying to get a sharp point on it. However, I got in touch with Black Widow via Facebook, and this is amazing, guys. Their customer service is awesome. Now, I haven't seen the whole process out through to the end, so I'll keep you guys updated. But basically, this was happening tonight. I was working on this picture before, while I was making dinner and stuff before I came on here. And I ran into that issue. You know, I was running into that issue with a couple pencils, but this pencil in particular, I literally sharpened and the core fell out like 5 or 6 times in a row. I just cannot use it. It's completely junk. And I'm like, no, because I really need that pencil to finish this page. And I was really in the zone and loving how it was coming out. So I was a little bit disappointed. So anyway, I got on to Facebook. I found their page, and you can message them through Facebook Messenger, the customer service department. And literally within a minute and a half, they responded to me. So I sent them a picture of because I had kept all the little pieces that were breaking off. I sent them a picture and I said, hey, you know, I love your guys' pencils. I've used them on a couple of coloring pages so far, and I'm working on this one page, and within one sitting, this is what's happening, and I'm disappointed, and I just don't know what to do. And they said, don't worry, I want to resolve this for you. They said that it could have happened during shipping. And he said, basically, they asked me to type in the color numbers, and they were going to get me replacements right away and ask for my address. So I gave them all the information they needed. Now, they said they're shipping from Australia, so it could take up to 4 weeks. But either way, I mean, guys, this was literally a minute and a half after I messaged them with my issue. They were on top of it, and it was basically the whole situation was resolved in about 5 minutes time. And there was just no hesitation there. They said, not a problem, we're going to replace those pencils for you. So I can't say enough about Black Widow's customer service. I mean, I love these pencils anyway, and I just love them even more knowing that their company is such a stand-up company that they're willing to support their customers like that. So I will keep you guys updated, but I'm on the fence about whether do I just put this away for now until they come in, because it could be a while, or do I work around? And I was working around even earlier tonight. What I was doing was basically skipping the areas, these white areas here, where I intend to put that one specific pencil. So I might do that. I might just, you know, I can still finish the water. You know, there's still plenty I can finish without that pencil. And I might just work around it. We'll just see how tedious and frustrating that gets, because you know, it takes a little bit more planning that way. So we'll see. So I might, if I feel discouraged, I'm just going to put it away, because I don't like coloring if it makes me feel bad. But if I'm good with it and I'm strategic and I move on, then I will. And I'll keep you guys posted about that. So no promises about me continuing this immediately, but I think I probably will, because I'm really enjoying this page so far. So that's what's going on there. All right, so what do I got for tonight? We've got our comp book, and I've got like I said, tonight's gonna be real weird and sporadic. I've got a pair of scissors. I've got a couple of glue sticks, and I've got these. I thought maybe they might make like cute little bookmarks or borders, but I don't know if we're gonna put those in tonight. But I did pull them out. And then I've got a whole bunch of collage elements here, stuff that I've been saving. I've got a couple of gel pens that were, I didn't pick these colors. I literally just I neatened up my coloring desk. I put all my gel pens away when I finished my calendar. I put a whole bunch of stuff away. And then in my, I'll post a picture on Instagram. I have a skull that my brother bought me for my birthday, and it's got like a round cavity in it that I keep on my desk, and I put, if I'm working in the middle of something, for example, if I'm in the middle of a coloring page, the pencils I'm using will go in there, so that way they're up out of the way and contained. So I had those in there and I didn't put them away, and I put everything else away. So I said, you know what, I'll keep them out. Maybe we'll use them tonight. I've got that white. I've got a couple of pencils here that I just grabbed out of the skull, and I'm just going to use a Papermate pen. I use these at work all the time. These are one of my favorite quick go-to pens. I like to doodle with these a lot. I like these pens a lot. And then I just took some notes on some of the one place and some of the characters that I wanted to basically make pages for. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And to start with, well, I don't want to say to start with. I don't know where to start. I think we'll start with doing a page for Two Rivers, Edmund's Field. That's where the story takes place. That's where our main characters are all from. It's a very small, isolated village. And this story isn't dated, but if I had to date it, I couldn't give you a date. Guys, I suck at history. But if I had to date it, you're really talking like, okay, cottages, burning fires. There's no electricity. This is prior electricity. I mean, it's really in its own world and its own timeline, but this is definitely like a medieval type of setting, I want to say. Castles, kings, queens, that sort of thing. So Two Rivers, like I said, it's a village that is part of a bigger kingdom, but it is very isolated. They don't even really consider government or kings and queens. They're so isolated. And they kind of hint later in the book that it's so isolated that the monarchy of that kingdom doesn't even bother taxing, like going out there to tax them. So they kind of are their own thing. So the thing about that is they're on the fringes of society, up against the wilderness. They really get faced with a lot of hardships, and I'm saying the village, the community as a whole, gets faced with a lot of hardships as far as weather and predators and things like that. And they kind of touch on this a little bit at the beginning of the book. But no matter what, they always make it through. They're very sturdy, hardy people. They just pick up the pieces and move on. So the other part of the setting is that, and I kind of touched on this on some of my notes for the first chapter, is they describe the setting as being, you know, the end of winter. The time is the end of winter going into the beginning of spring, right? But there's something wrong with the land that, oh, I didn't even mean to pull this page out, and that's kind of perfect too. There's something wrong with the land or the weather where spring isn't coming and winter is staying longer than it should, and crops aren't coming in the way they should, and animals, like the wild animals, are starving and ravenous. And they're kind of coming out from the forest, and so that's an extra threat, is these wild animals. Guys, I just want to say, if you want to read this book, don't watch this video, because I'm going to talk about it. So, and I don't want to give it away. It's a good book. You guys should go read it. I will make sure to put something in the comments that says that, you know, this is a spoiler alert if you haven't read it and you want to read it. But anyway. So I tried to find a lot of pictures that were kind of like bleak winter type landscapes to use as a setting. So for Edmund's Field, we've got some winter here. This is not bleak, it's kind of pretty, but I thought it'd be nice. What else do I have? And I'm just pulling the stuff that I picked up for Edmund's Field. So I cut this out because this reminds me of the inn that is there. So I wanted that to be the inn. And just looking, guys, because I cut out a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, here, see, like, this is perfect. This is really perfect. Bear with me. I have a couple more things here. Okay, so they mentioned a couple of bridges. So I cut that out. And then aren't these, okay, so if you guys remember, I colored these as part of my Disney book. I thought that these would be cute, like little cottages that are like the cottages that make up the village. So that's that. So let's just figure out how can we, first we'll cut some of these out. Cut this bridge out. So I'm just going to start by kind of cutting some of the stuff out. I'm not going to worry about being super neat. We're going to slap it together, guys. And I'm by no means an expert at collage. I like to do collage, but I haven't done it a lot. We're gonna cut the birds out because there's not a lot of like birds out like that are chirpy happy right now. So we'll save those for something else. Yeah, but I'm just kind of making this up as I go, guys. I mean, I think I've watched enough of Dede Willingham's videos that I can figure it out. I love you, Dede. And I have done a couple of collage type things myself. I did the collage pumpkin. You guys can go check that out around, it was in November. I collaged a pumpkin because Dede did one. And I was like, oh, I have to do that. And that was a lot of fun. I've done some collages when I was younger. But yeah, you know what? We'll just leave that as is. That's fine. I really like, you know what's funny is I like this too. Remember when I was talking at the beginning of the book about like the weird stranger in the background? It just stinks that we have all this print. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to save that half. And I'll just have to figure out what to do about the print. We'll cut this part out. I'll have to figure out what to do with the wording there, but we'll save that half for the beginning of the book. I'm going to put that to the side. And we're going to do something with this. I'm just going to cut this out. Maybe we won't use the whole thing. What do you think? Maybe we'll, see what I'm saying? We can just use like half. Alright. We'll save this for another page maybe later in the book. I've got some more winter. Obviously we're gonna, sorry Mr. Skier, but you are above our time there. So we got this going on. I think, how do I wanna, well, we'll just throw that over there because I don't know how I want to use it yet. Is there anything over here we want? The whole story really is bleak like this, so we could easily use these somewhere else. And these houses are kind of modern too, so I have to be careful about that. I probably want to use from like here down. So we'll save that. Oh, actually, there is a chapter in the book where they're crossing a river and it's all snowy, icy. So we can probably, you know, we'll probably use that part for that. So we'll hold on to that. Okay, so let's see. What do we got to play with? So we've got our little, so this is funny. I colored the first one and I did all like the windows and stuff black, and I was like, oh, it looks so dark and depressing. So I did the rest of them in yellow so it looked like somebody is home. And then I was like, oh, you know what? That's okay, because maybe that person isn't home. They're on holiday. Silly, I know. Okay, so this is this, and then there's the bridge, and we've got all the little houses. I'm just trying to figure out like how do I want to do this? I mean, we could put these up here. I don't know, this is like too dark. I mean, it's like dark, kind of like depressing. So I don't want to use that yet. So we'll just, just trying to figure it out, guys. I'm wondering, I think I want to cut all of this out. I just want to use the snowy trees. Get rid of that. Yep. And I'm just thinking, do I want to do a double page spread here for this? Got that. And we've got our, oh yeah, look, and then we could do like the bridge in the middle. And oh yes, this is how we're doing it, guys. This is it, because I'll tell you why. Because I'm sorry, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Because the farm so the village is isolated from the community, but the farm that the main character is coming from at the very start of the story is isolated from the village. They actually have to walk down a long road for a couple miles before they even get to the village, for several miles. It's like a half day's journey. So this could be like the village, and then we've got our bridge, and then like the farm could be over here. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. I just don't know if I want all this white here. It's just a lot. I don't want to super fussy cut it, because it's like a lot of detail and we'll be here all night, but let me see if I can get some. I'm just cutting some of this excess white off here. Okay. I'm literally just throwing all my scraps on the floor. I'm just going to sweep them up when we're done. It's funny because it reminds me of sewing at work. We tend to throw the red scraps and stuff on the floor and then just sweep it up, even though I try not to do that. I try to just throw them in like a little waste bin right away, but I don't actually have a little waste bin that I can use here. So I don't know how many of these pages we're going to glue. We're just going to go until I get tired. And I don't have a lot. And I don't have, like, I made a list of all the main characters. And there's more places that I want to do. But I didn't find collage stuff for it. Basically, I just went through all what I do. So this is my collage method so far. And I haven't done many collages, but this is how it goes. My father-in-law has subscriptions to quite a few magazines, and so what happens is we keep them kicking around, and once they start getting beat up, because mainly because of my 2-year-old, then what I do is I go through and I just rip out all the pages that I like, and I save them in a box on my desk. And then when I'm getting ready to do a collage, and I just the whole pages. I don't, sometimes if I'm just sitting there bored, I'll go through and I'll cut out of the pages what I like, and I'll store them in a Ziploc baggie. I haven't really done that much lately though. And I don't mean cut out like this. I mean like a quick cut out to be fussy cut later when I'm ready to use it. But for the most part, I just have like pages like this. I just rip them out, I save them. I've got a whole stack of pages of stuff I want to use. So all I did tonight was I just went through those pages that I have saved, and well, and this was like right before the video. I went through all the pages I had in my Ziploc bag of cut pieces and said, okay, yeah, this reminds me of this person. I like this because of that. Just anything that reminded me of the book or the characters in the book. So That is to say, I don't exactly have something for all the characters I'd like to cover. And I might not do glue collage aspects for all the characters I want to cover. We might draw stuff in, we might sketch stuff in, I might paint stuff in. This is just what we're doing tonight. We're gonna cut and glue stuff in tonight. And maybe on another night we'll do some other stuff with it. Okay, so there's those. I'm happy with that as it is. I'm happy with that. Yeah, okay, so I'm happy with all the cut pieces as they are. So now we'll just go ahead and glue some stuff down. Ooh, my glue fell out. I'm sure I'm not under the camera, guys, but all I'm doing is okay, my glue keeps falling out of my glue stick. It's annoying. All I'm doing is just putting glue on the back of my glue stick. Put that there. Put this here. So the inn is kind of a big focal center of the village, because that's pretty much, it's the one and only place. It's the biggest building in the village, and it's the one and only place for visitors to stay. And there's not usually many visitors. It's usually merchants, I don't even want to say merchants, but like traveling merchants or traders. They call, basically for entertainment, they're called glee men, Gleemen. And basically they travel from town to town, basically bringing entertainment. And so what they would do, what a gleeman would do, you know what, we're going to rip it. This is going to stay better if we do that. What a gleeman would do is he juggles, he tells stories, he sings songs. It basically provides general entertainment, and that is something that sometimes they bring fireworks and stuff too. That is something that generally is greatly anticipated, because the people of this time don't have a lot to entertain them. It's mostly work. All right, we're gonna have to use the other glue stick, I think. It's pretty much work and survive, and so this is the brief respite they get from a life of hardships. Not that they look at it this way as a life of hardships. For them, it's just life. But a gleeman coming to town is a big, well, not anticipated because nothing is planned, but it's a big, joyous thing when it happens, because that's their entertainment. Okay, so we have our bridge. We'll go ahead and I don't know if these are going to stick on with that glue because it's cardstock. So what we're going to do, believe it or not, is I'm going to use some of my glitter glue here to stick them on, because I think they'll stay better with like a thicker glue. I would use a bottle of tacky glue. I just am not sure exactly where my tacky glue is tonight, and I don't want to go around trying to dig it out. Yep, that seems to work okay for the minute. We'll see how that goes. Oh, I don't know, guys. Maybe the glitter glue is not going to work. We'll see. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I will go ahead and cover this with some kind of matte medium or something. Yeah, I don't want them to be like perfectly spaced or anything. I'm just going to kind of put them on here randomly. So I'll post links in the description, guys, to the, this project is Compbook 2020. You basically pick a subject, Could be anything. I picked a book, but it could literally be anything. You pick a subject and you basically fill a comp book with it, a composition notebook with it, with notes, pictures, doodles, research, anything related to that one subject you pick. So like I said, in my case, I picked a book. But you could pick it on, it could be on insects, on flowers, on gardening, cars, movies. I mean, it could literally be anything. So what I'll do is I'll post a link in the description to the original video by Dede Willingham, where she basically goes over all the details of the project. But I have not gotten to spend as much time on it as I would have liked. But it's here, and I'll pick at it throughout the year. The only problem with that is because I picked a book. So the book it's a book series, The Wheel of Time, by Robert Jordan, and this book, I'm doing it specifically on the first book, The Wheel of Time. The only thing about doing it the way I did it is I got almost to the end of the book when I started this project, and I was so engrossed in the book that's what I was like, I have to do this comic book on that book because I just love the world, the characters, everything, and it's a whole series. The downside to it, I'm just giving this a couple minutes to dry so I can flip the page. The downside to it is it kind of stalls me out from jumping ahead on the books because I'm focusing on the first book. And it's funny because I got all the way to chapter, hold on, let me read the chapter titles real quick. I got all the way to chapter 48. So look at how close I am to the end of the book. And I was like, oh, but I'm going to have to go back and read the chapters and take notes. So I literally stopped reading it. And I've been kind of skimming the chapters from the beginning to put notes in. So I know that this project's going to take me a long time, and that means I'm postponing reading the series for a long time. That's the only thing that stinks. I mean, I could jump ahead and all that, but I've got 1,000,001 projects, and trying to read a book series and jump around between books is not something I want to do. So they'll be there. They're not going anywhere. So this is, so the area, I don't even know what they call it, like province or I don't know, but the area is called Two Rivers. And the specific, like, little village is called Edmondsfield. So that's what we're doing this on. And so this would be the, I almost feel like we should use something else. I feel like I should be using markers or something. But this would be the, wow guys, I am tired because I'm drawing a blank. This would be the inn. Thank you. Wow. Having a hard time, I guess. This would be the inn. And those would be the village.